Hi everybody, welcome to the Salesforce1 Mobile Tips and Tricks for Admins and for any developers that we have in the audience. My name is Mary Scotton. I'm a developer evangelist at Salesforce.com, and I have been at Salesforce.com for 8 years now. And prior to Evangelism, I was in the product management team focused on the point-and-click customization tools that you're probably familiar with. So in being on the PM team, I am super familiar with this next slide. And any of you who have been to a Salesforce event have seen it as well. This is our safe harbor statement. Salesforce is a publicly traded company, so please do not make any forward-looking statements. Also, don't make any purchasing decisions based on forward-looking statements that I might make. And I do have a couple to make, I think, during this webinar. If you have questions during the webinar, we do have folks in the background who will answer those questions. So you can put them right into the GoToWebinar questions pane. And at the end, we will pick some of those questions to share with the group. So please do ask your questions as you go along. Before I introduce the other speakers, I want to introduce that this is our first webinar of our Admin Evangelism team. So we're kicking something off new this year. We've always had developer evangelism, and we've had support in the success community from Erica Kuhl and Matt Brown. And now we're bringing that love for our admins into the developer relations group, and now we have some new admin evangelists that I'd like to introduce you to. I'm super excited about it. The admins are the heart of our Salesforce ecosystem, and we really are here to serve you, delivering you useful content and education like this webinar today. So our charter is good stuff, no fluff. So hopefully that's what you'll see today, and all of these tips and tricks will really help you, take it to the next level in your admin roles. So some of the folks on the team, there's myself, and then you probably know Erica Kuhl. She's our community manager on the success community. And I'd like to introduce you to Jillian, Leanne, and Sarah, and they've just joined the team recently, and we're all working closely together to deliver great blogs and webinars and other content to educate and enable you. You may have received our admin email, that digest. That first one came out this month, and we'll be doing that on a regular basis. So we're hoping to really provide a lot of great content. At the end of this webinar, there's a survey. Please let us know how we're doing and what other content you would like to see. All right, so let's get started. Today I'm joined by Shannon Grimm and Amanda Ream, who both hold the sysadmin powers at Mezzo, and Jennifer Wobser, solo admin at FFF Enterprises. They're excited to share their stories with you so that you can learn from their mistakes and their successes. So we're all in different cities, so I'll be driving the slides and the demos to minimize technical difficulties. So in the next hour, here's our agenda. I'm going to kick it off just setting the stage with a quick overview of Salesforce1 Mobile. Then we'll hear the Mezzo story from Shannon and Amanda, followed by the FFF Enterprises story from Jennifer. Then I'll add a few more tips and tricks of my own and give pointers to the resources and next steps. And as I said earlier, you can ask questions all along, and then at the end we'll leave time for Q&A. So if you haven't had experience with Salesforce1 yet, let me level set. Now this is a marketing slide, but good stuff, no fluff. I'm not going to give you the marketing overview. All you really need to know is that with Salesforce1 Mobile App, you are now Salesforce administrators and mobile app builders. Not all, but most of the customizations that you've done in your Salesforce CRM apps are now available on mobile. And the same is true for custom apps and App Exchange apps. So maybe you're wondering, how is it possible to have a mobile app out of the box without any extra coding or customization? The secret is the Salesforce metadata. The Salesforce app is generated by the metadata that you create. All of those point-and-click customizations and configurations that you do, creating those object definitions, field definitions, arranging your page layouts, defining criteria and list views. Salesforce has always read all of these definitions to materialize the desktop browser app. And now it's reading those same layouts for the mobile app. For example, if there are fields your users can see on a page layout on the desktop browser app, they will see those same fields on the mobile app. Now, there are some new features that will let you customize things that are special about the mobile experience. These are mobile navigation, compact layouts, and publisher actions. And Amanda's actually going to dig into those for you. In addition, we can customize the mobile card on your page layouts, and that only displays, like its name, the mobile card, on the mobile device. And the point-and-click customizations you can do there include enhanced lookups, embedded charts, and new in Spring 14, a Twitter component that I will demo at the end. Mobile cards can also contain Visualforce pages, but we are not going to cover that in today's webinar. So we really aren't going to be able to make you an expert in all of these new layouts and features today, and there is documentation on how to configure them all. But the real challenge we've heard is determining when or why to use each feature to solve your real business problems. So that's what we're focusing on today, how to solve those problems. But the first thing I want to do, in case you haven't actually enabled Salesforce1 in your org, I want to show how to do that. And here on the right, I have the browser up, and on the left, you'll see my phone, which we don't need right now, but you'll need later. So when you go into setup, you want to make sure that you have Salesforce1 enabled. The first thing you'll need right now is to have chatter enabled. So if you look under the chatter settings, so you want to make sure that chatter is enabled. And at the bottom here, also that publisher actions are enabled. Now, in the developer edition orgs that you use to sign up for the webinar, all of this is already on. But in your production orgs, you may need to turn this on before you can play with it. The other thing you want to check is the Salesforce1 settings. And this is where you are going to enable Salesforce1 so that your users can access it. And what I want to show you is that this link here to connected apps. So right now, the way this is being handled is that in your orgs, you'll see each of these items under connected apps, and then you're able to edit. So this is the Salesforce1 connected app for the iOS app. I just want to show the types of things that you can do here. You have a lot of control over who can log in, how they get access, do they need a PIN, to be able to authenticate into the app, right? So you want to make sure that you are familiar with these settings and that all of the policies are conforming to your business policies. Here's a lovely screenshot of that for future reference. And then now, I do want to make a forward-looking statement. You can use Salesforce1 right now without chatter enabled, but you won't see the chatter feed, and you won't see publisher actions, which you'll see later in the demos. That's really important. It's a key part of the Salesforce1 app. So in the next release, Summer 14, we are planning to support publisher actions on the object records for orgs that do not have chatter enabled. So that's coming soon in the next release in Summer 14. Even if you don't have chatter enabled, you will still be able to take advantage of publisher actions. A little safe harbor there. With that, I'd like to introduce Shannon Grimm and Amanda Ream from Mezzo. Welcome, Shannon and Amanda. Thank you so much for joining us today and sharing your story. Hey, Shannon and Amanda, welcome. Take it away.
I did the old admin trick of turning it off and turning it back on again.
Hey.
Okay. So good afternoon, good morning to everybody out there. This is Shannon speaking, and I am the Global Mac CRM Project Manager at Metso. Metso is a company, we actually are headquartered in Finland. Amanda and I are both in York, Pennsylvania. And Metso manufactures and sells mining and construction equipment. As I said, I am the Global Mac CRM Project Manager, and Amanda is our Senior CRM Administrator. And if we want to go to the next slide, Mary, there we go. Just to give you a brief overview of our project and sort of how we came about participating in this call, we started this project as a pilot, Salesforce as a pilot project. We began in 2012. In December of 2012, we started with 50 users, all based in the Americas, North and South America, and all salespeople. We started building Salesforce in our Salesforce solution in December of 2012. We went live in February of 2013, and we were approved to go ahead globally to roll out Salesforce globally in March of 2013. So everybody knew that this was a great solution for Metso. And this was in our mining segment, our mining sales segment. So last summer, we spent a lot of time training sales support and other market areas. We now have about 500 users. By the end of this year, we expect there to be 1,000 users. We have a small team. It's myself, Amanda, and one other admin. And we did, as part of our training last year, we did have our salespeople download Touch and the Chatter iOS app. So we showed them where to go and how to download that, and gave them a very brief overview. We didn't really include it in our training sessions, our full training sessions, but we just said, look at how great this is. There's a mobile solution. You can do this on your iPad or your phone, and that kind of was where we left our mobile training and solution. And then in November, we went and to Dreamforce, Amanda and I, and of course that's where Salesforce1 was launched.
Yeah, so this is Amanda. We were at Dreamforce, and of course the Salesforce1 app came out, and we were all super excited because we were like, yes, we don't have to tell people anymore to download Touch and Chatter. We have everything in one app. So of course we immediately turned it on and downloaded it, and you know, everything that was in our org was the same as it was in the app. So we were like, all right, cool, you know, you just turn it on and everything moves over. We don't have to do anything. So I guess a couple months went by, and Shannon and I were preparing, well, Shannon was preparing for a training, and we started discussing, you know, how do we revamp the training to focus more on mobile? Because a large part of our users are sales users who are on the road and are going to be using their iPhones and iPads to connect. So of course they're going to be using the app. So as part of that revamping the training, we went in and we started using, you know, Salesforce1 as an end user. And as admins, we had used it before, but as admins, we basically used it for chatter and, you know, kind of to respond to people. We didn't ever really get in there and kind of use it as an end user. So when we were prepping for this training and trying to put the focus on mobile, we went in and we started using the app as an end user. You know, if I'm a salesperson, what would I do with this app? So kind of day in the life as a salesperson, which I think, you know, Salesforce touches on a lot with, you know, some of the demos that they give. So we went in and we were like, all right, salesperson on the road, what do we need to do? So the first thing we tested was, how do I edit an opportunity? So we went into the opportunity and we were trying to edit it, and as soon as we opened up the opportunity, it was taking like 30 seconds for just the opportunity to load so we could get in there and edit it. Now our opportunities are fairly large. We have about 60 fields in our opportunity. So possibly, you know, that's basically the reason that it was taking so long to load. So we thought, here's our problem. This is, probably why we have an adoption issue, because a lot of the problems and questions that we were getting for end users and salespeople especially were coming from using the desktop version. So, if we were going to push this mobile adoption and try and incorporate this in our training materials and try and get people to use mobile, we really needed to figure out a way to make these opportunities load quicker, because there was no way as a salesperson they were going to wait 30 seconds to be able to update an opportunity. So we posted our question to the community and said, we have this problem, what can we do? And of course, like the community always does, tons of people reached out to help us. And so what we figured out is that we could use a publisher action to fix this. So our business problem that we're going to talk about today is salespeople are not adopting the mobile solution because an opportunity edit takes too long to load. So our solution was create an update type publisher action and show people how easy it is to use. So as an admin, I went in and I started figuring out, like, what exactly could we customize, in this app? Because it seemed, when we turned it on after Dreamforce, that everything was there, and, it looked just like it was supposed to in our org. So, as an admin, I went through the help documents and I started figuring out exactly what could we change in the app itself, versus what it looks like in the org. So what I did is I broke it down into 3 things that you basically need to know to get started with the app. The first thing is the navigation menu. The second thing is the compact layout. And the third thing is the publisher action, which is what we use to solve our business problem. So the first thing is to understand the navigation menu. So when you come into the app and you press the little menu at the top left-hand side, which I think you can see on the phone right now, you're going to have various objects that are going to show up on the left. So you can move some of those around, like your feed and your people and your groups. And some of the more recent, like the objects that you use more, so your accounts and contacts are part of the smart search items. So Mary's going to talk a little later about how to organize these, but just remember that the navigation menu is just the order that you see things in the menu in the app. So the second thing that you need to be aware of is the compact layout. So what the compact layout is when you go into, maybe an opportunity or an account or a contact, there are 4 fields that you will be able to see at the top of that record. So as you can see in the demo that's playing right now, the opportunity name is the first thing that you see, and then below that is the stage and the order date, or I think it's called the order date in Salesforce, and also the amount for that opportunity. So that's something else that you can customize. The limit on that is 4, so you want to maybe pick your 4 most important things that a salesperson or whoever's using your app would want to see when they're in that record. So the third thing is the publisher actions. So the publisher actions are what we use to solve our business problem. And when you go into the app, the way I like to think about it is you have this little plus sign at the bottom of the app. So that's your publisher, and then when you click the plus sign, you have all your actions, so things that you can do inside the app. So we went in and started playing with ours. We had the defaults in there. So a salesperson could basically, their publisher actions that were in their app, what they could do was they could, post a file or do a thanks or do a link. And that was all just in the mobile app. And we were thinking about it, and we're like, as a salesperson, maybe you want to post a file and a link, but you need some more useful actions in there, being on the road and to do things quickly. So this is where we added the edit opportunity action. So the salesperson can come in there, they can click edit opportunity. It brings them, within seconds to a separate screen where they can update the 8 most important fields in an opportunity. So for us, that was like opportunity name, proposal date, amount, stage. All those fields were editable now with this quick action. One downside to that, when you do add things to publisher action in the app, they actually show up on the desktop version as well, as you can see on that left-hand side in that block. So that's kind of the downside, but what we did is we kind of put the post, the file, and the link at the beginning, so those using the desktop version could still use the things that they needed, and then, you know, kind of hid the ones that were going to be in the app in the more drop-down. So that's how we solved our business problem with publisher actions. So I'm going to pass it back to Mary, and she's going to go over how you do each of these things in Salesforce.
Thanks so much, Amanda, for highlighting these three main Salesforce1 features. Let's take a quick look at each one in setup. Oh, look, I was doing my connected app here. Let's go back to. So the first thing is that mobile navigation. So let's look for that in setup here on the right. As Amanda said, the items that you have selected in your mobile navigation, you can move around. So let's go over here to the left and take a look at Salesforce1 on my phone and click on this little doohickey. Some people call it a hamburger. All right, let's trust that some things are going to show up there. And then let's talk about this smart search item. As Amanda mentioned, some of the things on the left-hand nav can be moved around. One of the things that can't is the smart search items, because it's smart. And you see the recent items here. I did not set this order for accounts and contacts and opportunities to show up. These are the things that I have most recently been active with in the browser app. So each user is going to have a different view here under recent. And that is personalized. So if they are always hitting accounts or they're always hitting cases, that's going to be the thing that's at the top. But you can move, say, groups around, save that. And then when I refresh here on the left on my phone, now groups is above people. All right, so pretty straightforward, pretty easy to change. The next thing is the compact layouts. And let's look at that on the opportunity. So we search here and set up for opportunities, and now we have compact layouts. This layout actually controls what you're going to see on the detail page. It also controls something called an expanded lookup that we're not going to get into today. But let's drill in on the left here into one of our opportunities. And we'll see that we're showing these 4 fields at the top. What we're showing right now is the system default. And you'll see that that's checked as the primary. So compact layouts are different than page layouts because there is only one compact layout for all of your users and all of your record types. And you change that here in compact layout assignment. And if I switch it to be this custom layout that I made, you take a look at that and see now we have just 3 fields: opportunity name, amount, and stage. If I refresh on the phone, now I see I only have the 3 fields, and I can edit this record and add other things if I want to, like if I want to know what the next step is. Again, super easy to customize. And again, just refresh on the phone, and now we'll see the next step. We have to call Fred. All right. Last thing I want to show is the publisher actions. And again, I want to look at that opportunity. And I already have this set up. Here they are under, now you might be searching under publisher actions, and you won't see it there. You'll see it only under buttons and links and actions. It's very similar to the behavior we have in buttons and links. So you can see I've already set up the action that Amanda was talking about, this edit opportunity. All right, and I'm going to show it to you in this view. It's a little easier to see. So it's an action on the opportunity object. The action type is update a record. You can also create an action that creates a record, and that lets you create any child record for that object. And in this case, though, we're going to update the opportunity, and all we need to do is give it a label, and we can give it a custom icon if we want. But the next thing we have to do is make sure that it has the fields we want in it. And there's a special layout. Looks a lot like the page layout editor, but it's a special layout just for the action. So it lets you put just one column worth of fields. So if we say, you know what, I really want to show the proposal, due date, and let's see what else, the next task date. All right, so I can add those to my layout and save that. I'm almost done, not done yet. I have to go back to the opportunity and then go to the opportunity page layout. Page layout is where you control the order of the actions. See this publisher action section? This is what end users will see on the browser app and on the phone. So if I tap now over on my phone, I'll see these 4 actions. Ooh, photo, because I'm on the phone. And then I want to add my new action, which is here in the action category, to edit opportunity. When I do that and save, I go back over to the phone, pull the refresh, and click again. Boom, now I have my edit opportunity, and I should see those fields that I had chosen in the layout. All right, so now, as a sales rep, I can make a change to one of the fields, hit submit, and now I've updated the opportunity without opening up all 50 of the fields. So, Shannon and Amanda, back to you. I think you have some final words of wisdom that you'd like to share.
Yeah, so for everybody out there who's super excited now and wants to go in and get started, you know, the first tip is just get in there and use it. Use it like your end users are. So don't make the mistake that we did and, you know, not doing things from the day in the life of, you know, a salesperson or whoever that you have is going to be using this on the road. So make sure that you keep that in mind when you're in there and you're actually using it. And don't be scared. So you can hook up your app to the sandbox, and you can do all your changes in the sandbox or your dev environment, and then check out things in there before you actually roll it out to production. So there's lots of different ways that you can do this so that you don't mess up your production environment. So I'll give that back to you, Mary.
Thanks so much, Amanda. Thank you both, Shannon and Amanda, for sharing your story and your trials and tribulations with us. Next, I'd like to introduce Jennifer Wobser, and she's with FFF Enterprises. Jennifer, thanks for joining us today to share your story.
Guys.
There you
are.
Can you
hear me okay out there?
Yes.
All right. Well, first of all, I have to say thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to be on this webinar today. I am an evangelist for the admin as well because I've been an admin for 10 years, since 2004. So I want to represent all the admins out there. As you can see, my name is Jennifer Wobser. I have been nominated recently as an MVP in winter 2014, and I have to attribute that also to Salesforce1. It's a wonderful, wonderful opportunity for admins to make themselves heroes. And I heard a lot of what Amanda was saying being very similar to how I felt and how I experienced the Salesforce1 experience when I first heard about it. And I'm hoping that you out there in the audience can receive some of that energy from us as well. So first of all, I want to start out with telling you that I am a real person. I am a lone admin. I have educated myself to be an admin since day one in 2004, before we had the community, before we had classes, before we had certification. You know, you just have to have a love for it and embrace it, and it just comes to you naturally. And I know a lot of you out there in the audience can understand what I'm telling you about right now. We have about 100 users. We're getting ready to grow. We just built another facility in North Carolina. Right now our headquarters is in Southern California. We also launched the mobile app the first time in 2004 when it was Sendia, and then it was called Salesforce Mobile. And the first time that the reps were given the mobile app, it was kind of just a novelty. It was on the BlackBerry, and it was like, oh, look what I can do. I can, email somebody from the bathroom if I want to, or, you didn't really bring it in front of customers. It wasn't commonplace. Like I said, it was a novelty. It wasn't problem solving. It was just information retrieval. So I really thought back then that I did this great job of introducing a mobile product to our sales team. And then now the second time around, as everybody has phones and everybody uses mobile, I realized that there were a lot more improvements I could do if I ever had a second opportunity to do a mobile launch. So the interesting part about that is I went to Dreamforce in 2013, and as I walked into the keynote and they introduced Salesforce1, it was like the heavens opened up and the angels were singing, and I thought, wow, I have an opportunity to do a second mobile launch in my 10-year admin career. How many people get that opportunity to do something a second time? And if that isn't enough for everybody out there to convince you that this is, something that you can feel that energy too, is that I used to be a sales rep. I was a sales rep for 3 years before I became the admin. I've worked at our company for 13 years. So as a sales rep, the sales rep in me saw that Salesforce1 app on the screen, and I thought, I am a kid in a candy store. Not only as an admin can I build this, but as a sales rep myself, I can have everything I ever wanted that I never had on the road at my fingertips. How cool is that? I get to build it and I get to use it. And if you saw me right now where I'm sitting out in my car at Chicago Airport. You can get ready to go to the tour, and I have 2 of my sales reps inside, and I'm actually out here doing a training. And I wanted so badly to do this webinar that I'm out here telling you my story in real time as I'll run back in there and train them. So you could go ahead and go to the next slide. I want to tell you about some of the problems that I have solved at our company since Salesforce1 came out. And let's start with the first 2 most important problems that I solved. And you guys can do the same thing. You can solve problems in your company and just make them disappear with Salesforce1. How great is that? So business problem number 1 for us was that we had these price lists that were in these binders, and they were hard copies. If you went out on the road, you had to take them with you. For different kinds of legal reasons, we didn't have them available as the data format. So best case scenario, prior to Salesforce1, you could print them out, bring them with you, or you could call customer service and you could say, I'm in front of this customer and I need to know a price. Can you get it for me? But sometimes you'd have to hold because we give customers first priority in line on the phone. So I thought, how could I get those price lists in front of the customer, in the hands of the sales rep, and really improve this process? Well, as Mary's going to show you in the demo, it was just as simple as posting the file, the digital file that we use to print the price list, into a chatter group and leaving it there. I mean, from a regular computer, putting it in there, and then the reps can just pull it up from the groups in Salesforce1. Once it's up, they can email the file. They can open it and just read it and grab a price out of it really quick. They can print it. If there's a wireless printer around, they can post it to another group. It's really simple. And as you saw that demo went really fast on there. Well, can you imagine something that took 15 to 30 minutes only being that quick? So any kind of file that you have within your own company can just be stored in the cloud, and your sales reps can have it in the parking lot in front of the customer when they're at home multitasking on their computers. It's that simple. And the fact that they don't have to carry anything that they might spill coffee on, or, I mean, in this day and age of technology, it's just embarrassing to walk in anywhere with a binder or a day planner when you have a phone. So this one little tip here essentially reduced time for all of our sales reps during the day. And how many of us can use extra time? All of us, right? So the reps are definitely happy campers from this one. Okay, and then I'm going to show you the next one here. Can you guys tell I'm excited? I love this stuff. Okay, so everybody knows that we have dashboards and different kinds of analytics that are in Salesforce well, maybe not everybody knows, but you'll know after this webinar. If you turn Salesforce1 on, the dashboards just come right over depending on what your security settings are. So if you have reps that are out on the road that need to see a certain dashboard and they already have access to it, once you turn this on, boom, it's in there. So I was trying to think, what could I do with dashboards that would be, repurposing them for the road warrior? What did I want when I was a sales rep? Well, it was, I don't know about you out there, but there's different levels of sales reps and their technology. You have the people that say, just show me red and green and what I should go after or what I should not. And then you have those people that love spreadsheets and love to sort through their data. So I tried to find something that encompassed both, our techie brains and then the newbies to technology. And this seemed to meet them in the middle point. So the problem that we solved with this was that if you're a rep and you have a huge territory, say 2,000 to 5,000 accounts, and you're out on the road, you don't really have time to go through your spreadsheets. And, if you have that many accounts, how do you remember that somebody forgot to order? Or are you going to stop at your hotel and go look at your BlackBerry and, back in the old days and try and figure it out? No. Today, are you going to go stop at your hotel and pull up your laptop and look at your dashboard? No. But if you had a list that just told you every day where your low-hanging fruit was, would you go after that? Yeah, that's easy. You just pull it up in your hand on your phone, just like you see this picture here, and it shows the low-hanging fruit first. In this case, I used accounts that had ordered last month that hadn't ordered this month yet. And the reason I did that was because when you're on the road, you're not always on top of, who forgot to order, and it's really easy to miss somebody. And you know how time just flies. So if you know that you can go right into your phone, see your largest order last month, and then be able to call and make sure they order it again or place the order for them or however you want to take care of that particular customer, and then that one drops off the dashboard once their order is placed, and you can move on to the next one. You can actually start targeting your accounts at the beginning of the month rather than waiting to, the 25th and going, oh no, I have 400 accounts that forgot to order this month. So this is a way that we
This is Mary. I have a question.
Yeah.
What if I can't remember the name of my dashboard? I got to call you up and ask you about it. What are you going to do?
Oh, this is the best part. Okay, everybody out there. So if you're the admin and somebody's out there and they're stuck, you can definitely say, okay, let me email you a link to that target dashboard, and here you go. And from where you sit, you can sit there and put a link to regular Salesforce, and then you can put a link to the Salesforce1 Mobile address. So they have both. They can use it if they're at their laptop, and they can use it if they're at their BlackBerry. I keep calling BlackBerry from the old days, and they're on their iPhone. But it's so simple. And we had a rep just last week who was in a meeting getting contracts signed who wrote me and said, can you tell me where I can find a list of my top customers and what they've purchased? Or how about for our GNYA contract? What are the top brands that they purchased? And I was able to remember the email I had sent her before, find it in my inbox, and mail it right to her iPhone, and she was able to click the link right here, just like this shows, and pull up the dashboard without doing anything else. And we actually won that contract because of the analytics she was able to pull up on the fly. So it may take people a little.
So how did you make that link, Jennifer?
So all I did was use this, and I have to give a shout out to the community because Yana at the community helped me figure this out, and the community is the best place for you guys to start. So what I did was I put this, as you can see right here, you just type in this extension right here, this address, and then you place the ID of the object that you want to reference. In this case, we use the dashboard. You can use an account, you can use a contract, you can use an opportunity, but you can also tried to put a report in there, but since reports aren't available yet on Salesforce1, it won't go to anything. But I have mine already. I have an email with all the report IDs, so once we have that released in the future. Yeah. Yeah, so anything that's available in Salesforce1, you can actually put the ID to it here and send it right out to your reps. So a list of their top accounts, if you want to use 25 accounts, you just put all 25 of those IDs down the row and send it off to them, and they have it wherever they are, wherever they need to see it. Good stuff. I'm so excited now. I want to go back in with my reps and start using it.
That's great, Jennifer. Hey, I'm going to take a quick minute to demo this, and then I have a few more tips to add. I'm being conscious of the time because I know there are a lot of questions that are coming in. So the first thing I want to show is, I have some groups here in my org on the right. I have this pricing group, and it has a couple of files. So that's what it looks like on the browser. And if I go over to my phone, take a look at the group, I will see that same group, pricing. And then if I slide over to the third little dot, I'll see the files. And so just like we saw when Jennifer was talking, I can grab one of these, and let's just say this is fake data, but I'm grabbing either a PDF or a spreadsheet. Whoa. Oh, I turned my phone. And you can see that you can pinch into the file, right? So they can really, get use out of these files as they're doing it. The other thing we want to show is the dashboard. So if you look again over on the browser, I have this dashboard again, fake data, opportunity dashboard. But if I scroll down here under apps, I can click on the dashboard, and what's it going to do is it's going to show me I can either search or I can look at my recent dashboards. So here's that same dashboard, and see the three dots. It shows all three of the dashboards. And that's how easy, really there's nothing to do there except train the users and tell them how to do it. And then the last thing I want to show, because I think it's so cool, is, and I don't have it up. I'm not going to show it in the interest of time, was the link from the email, which is pretty cool. But again, I want to make sure we have time for Q&A at the end. So thanks again, Jennifer, for your tips and tricks and insights and sharing your story with us. And what I want to do is share, a couple of tips and tricks of my own. These are not from my own experience, but they are things that I think are pretty groovy, and ones that I think are potentially will make your users cry tears of joy. So let's check it out. The first one is probably an app you've all been waiting for. The Salesforce1 Mobile App is still pretty young, and there are some gaps. So how many folks in the audience are going, ooh? All right, so if you have rolled out Salesforce1, you might have had managers complaining that they don't have time to react to the approval notifications as they pop up. But then those notifications disappear. And so now they don't know what they're supposed to approve, and they're still on the road. And so one of our evangelists, Sandeep Banat, is filling that gap with a new free Force.com Labs app on the App Exchange. So this app is great for any of your managers that are on the go that have to approve opportunities or time off requests or quotes or whatever you have approvals in your system. So it puts all those pending approvals in one place inside the Salesforce1 Mobile App. My second tip, and I'm going to demo all these at the end, so go quickly through them here, is how to leverage your social connections. If a sales rep's working a new account and maybe there are some relationships that exist, they have no people in common, and they don't even know about it. So you can tap into the social network. You can see here in the little video, right, where we did it first for an account, and now we're picking up Ms. Jane Gray. What we're doing is associating the contact record with her Twitter profile. So we can see her Twitter profile, and then if we did have anybody in common, we would see that at the bottom here. So it also grabs the photo from Twitter, and that actually shows up in both the browser app and on the phone. So this is a really great fast, non-code trick to use to amaze your users. So check it out. If you see it right now on your accounts and contact page layouts, then you'll look for this new category called components. If you don't see it, then you want to follow these steps here to enable social accounts and contacts in your org. And last but not least, if you're doing a rollout, you want to really do it in the native language of your users when you're doing a global rollout. And the challenge you might have had with previous mobile attempts is that with traditional mobile app development, if you're building a native or an HTML5 app from scratch, doing those translations in multiple languages is a lot of additional work. So if your previous attempts have been vetoed because of the translation costs, take another look at the translation workbench, and then you can show your users that you understand, that it's a little easier for them to navigate any app in their own language. They might not shed tears of joy, but I am betting that user adoption will increase. So take a minute here to demo these. Actually, I'm not, because I hear we have a lot of questions. So we're going to jump back. So I want to make sure that I'm sharing the resources and the next steps with you, and then we have time for questions. So this is a one-pager, just for you to print it out and hang on your cubicle wall. These are all the tips and tricks that we shared today. And then here are the resources that I want to share with you. Head out to the Success community. There's a new chatter group out there called Success-Salesforce1. Join that group. A lot of good discussion happening in there. You can also follow Success Admin newsletter if you want to see that when the new newsletters come out, if you're not getting that email. And also the topic Awesome Admins. So now you can follow topics in the community. Check those out. Also, I recommend this admin guide. It's called Salesforce1 App Admin Guide. And it really just walks you through, soup to nuts, how to set it up and how to roll it out, a lot of the things that we covered today. And last here is the link to the free App Exchange app that's out there for the Approval Central. There are also 2 upcoming webinars I want you to check out. The next webinar in our Admin Evangelism series is Apex for Admins, getting started with Apex in 30 minutes. So yes, you can learn Apex in less time than it took you to learn this point-and-click Salesforce1 stuff we just talked about. And that features David Liu, who's one of our Force.com MVPs, and he has a blog called SFDC99 where he shares Apex training tips. If you want to hear more of Jennifer's story, sign up for our May 21st webinar, Salesforce1 Make It Mobile, and you can hear more tips and tricks and more story behind how her rollout went. So now it's your turn. Download the Salesforce1 app on your phone. It's available in the App Store and Google Play. And then you mess around in your sandbox or your new developer edition. There's a little trick here to log into Sandbox. You have to tap this icon to switch from production to Sandbox. And your dev org is considered a production org. And then make sure that you take this step where you analyze your use cases and optimize for mobile before your rollout, and then go for mobilizing your success there. All right. Now, last but not least, please, please, please take time to fill out the survey, because we really want to know, was this content useful? What else can we do differently? What are the types of things that you want to use, what you want to hear from us in the future? All right, so please do fill out that survey. And now we have 8 minutes left, or 10 minutes left, depending on your time zone. My rooms have different time zones at home. But we have some time for questions, and I do have quite a lot of questions, which I don't know that I can answer all of them. But I will see what I can do. All right, question number 1. I just answered. If I'm using Salesforce1 on my iPhone, is there a difference between connecting to the free developer org versus a production environment or a full sandbox? There are no differences except for that login that I mentioned. And so for your production and your dev org, just use the Salesforce1 app out of the box, it's already pointing to production. And then if you need to switch to sandbox, you need to hit this little gear on the login screen and it'll let you choose sandbox. All right, looking at the questions. Good question. I mentioned some gaps. There's a question, how can we access custom buttons on the Salesforce1 page layout? And the answer is that you cannot. That is one of the gaps that we have right now. So you may have invested a lot of time in your custom buttons, and you might want to think about either, can I do that same work in a publisher action? You may need to do it in a publisher action that is backed by a Visualforce page instead of the point and click that I demoed today. Here's another question. I heard that it's now possible to customize Salesforce1 with our brand. I can show you that. Oh, I don't want to leave the webinar. No, no, no. Don't do that. The branding options are here in Setup. I actually hit on them when I was right here. So under Salesforce1, branding, and you can change these 4 things. So you can change the color, the background color that people see, including the header. And I can also change the color when you're loading the page and add a logo when you're loading the page. So if I go on my phone, right, the tile logo you cannot change. Your users are still tapping on the Salesforce1 tile, but this blue and the Salesforce1 logo that loaded when I tap that, you can change that to be your company's logo and your favorite color. You also can change this little plus. So if for some reason that's not the icon you want, you can change that. Question about compact layouts. Creating new compact layouts does not change the browser layout, just the mobile layout. That is true. And that's a great question because with your regular page layouts, any change to your regular page layout will be reflected on both your browser app and your mobile app. But the compact layout only controls things on your mobile app, controls the top of the page, a detail page that we talked about. It also controls what you see in expanded lookups. It's a little bit confusing because we do have a highlights panel on the browser app. So the compact layout and the highlights panel are doing very similar things, but highlights panel is only for browser, compact layout is only for mobile. I have a question about publisher actions. So essentially the focus of the publisher actions is to limit the number of fields that you're presenting on the mobile device. And the answer is yes. Right? So those publisher actions are used, and they're officially called publisher actions. We use quick action because that's really a good way to think about it. Right? What are those key tasks that your users are doing? I just met with a customer. Now I'm going to log that conversation. I just dropped off a delivery. Now I need to submit a new order. And so those quick actions allow you to either create a record or update a record without having to see the entire page layout and really targeting the fields that you need to see. They also let you, let's flip back over to my browser and go back to opportunity. Let's take a look at this edit opportunity action. They also do something that is really great, which is these predefined field values. We didn't touch on that, but let me show you what's in here. So if you are closing an opportunity, right, your action is called close opportunity, then maybe you set the close date to be today. All right. Typing and holding my iPad. Please hold. All right. So if you're familiar with formulas, you can set any field that the formula return type supports. So text, number, checkboxes, dates, all of those can be set using a formula. So again, you can maybe do some complex logic to decide what to do. And if you pick a pick list, you can set a specific value. So those predefined field values are pretty cool with the quick actions. The last question is actually out to Amanda and Shannon and Jennifer, and it's about how you manage to get your sales reps to really adopt the system. So the question is, what kind of feedback or personal processes did you have to implement to have your sales agents truly adopt this system? Who would like to field that?
This is Shannon, and we're still working on getting our sales reps to adopt it, but I found last month when I did sort of a retraining of our original pilot project salespeople and really spent time showing them the mobile app, I got a lot of, wow, okay, wow, this is great, this is easy, wow, this makes my life easier. And really the key is just making sure the app works well and works quickly, and then showing them all of the things that you can do from your phone or from your iPad, because they are all, kind of the kind of people that would generally go home from a sales call, open up their computer, and start typing out and updating all of their opportunities. When I showed them that, hey, you can go to your today, and there's your meeting, and here's this, there's that, they really were impressed with that. So I think, again, just really showing them what the app could do.
Yeah, I have to agree with Amanda on that. It's like it's their app, their mobile device. It's for them to make us all money so we have jobs tomorrow. So if it's solving a problem, then they're going to use it. I really just laid my admin ego down and said, you know what do you guys need out there? What is your biggest problem? What's costing us money? What can save money? And I took 5 of our biggest issues we had out on the road, which is disconnect between our home office and all of our road warriors, and solved all 5 with Salesforce1. So I haven't honestly had an adoption problem. They're all using it. Now, if they're all using it to the extent that I would like them to use it compared to how somebody else considers their rep should use it, that might be a little bit, a matter of perception. But in our scenario, we have 100% adoption and everyone using it and waiting for the next phase. And it's because it solves problems for them. So, if it was that easy for me, and I honestly, I'm almost embarrassed to tell people it was that easy. I gave it to the sales reps and I said, this will replace a Thomas guide, your binders, your day planner, your old Palm Pilot, and all those things you used to carry around with you are in the palm of your hand. It's your choice whether you want to use it. Well, they grab it from me immediately, and I never see it again. So I'd say that's success.
And so it's my hope. Thanks so much, Shannon and Jennifer, for fielding that last question. Now we need to jump off, but I want to, again, thank Shannon and Amanda and Jennifer for joining us today. I also want to thank everybody in the audience for taking an hour out of your day to spend with us. I'm hoping that this hour saves you a bunch of time as you dig into Salesforce1. If you do have questions, please feel free to reach out to us. We're all on Twitter, and all of our handles are here on this page. And definitely connect with us, ask questions. You can hit the Twitter hashtag #AskForce, and there are folks in the community following that. And again, a reminder to give us your feedback and a final thank you. Thanks so much.